If nobody asked any question, I would like to share my practice. I'm not sure if I practice correctly or not, but in my work life, the more I practice, the more I feel like I'm not similar to anybody at my work. Because at work, it seems like everybody enjoy everything, like gamble, singing, drinking, like after a week of working really hard, they normally just get together and do parties to enjoy themselves after a week of hard work. But for me, I only go to work and then come home to practice, and I don't join any of those events. I don't know if they keep a distance from me or if I keep a distance from them. So I feel a little bit challenges. Um, but maybe this is normal on the practice path. I heard you said the practice, the path of practice is very difficult because we go against the flow. Most people have their schedule similar to one another, but we are very different. Like I feel like I'm very different to other people. So could you help me understand if I practice correctly or not? Nam Mô Buddha. Thầy said when we practice the right Dharma, you would see that in our common life, we normally go against the common scenario, even go against our common consciousness. Sometimes we feel doubting ourselves whether we do it right or not. And because of those, like suspicion that makes us create a lot of challenges for us, especially we go against the external conditions. But doesn't matter how much we calculating everything, it still come from the thing that we want to seek, want to gain, want to fear, and still come from our attachment. Because we're still in duality, that's why we were able to see whether we go with or against the flow. And when we have such differentiation, that means it comes from attachment. If we just ask the question, raise the doubt, and keep the practice, then the thought of going with or going against the external conditions will not come up, So right now we just like sick people, we have to take medicine. And when we take medicine, sometimes it doesn't go align with the external conditions. Doesn't matter how they treat us. Don't worry about their treatment. Just focus on your practice. And instead of reacting to the external conditions, because they really don't affect you that much, The people who can affect you more is your family members, But even to your family members, we can find a way to not be fully dependent on them, because if we dependent on them, we are still following, the cycle of birth and death. Once your thought of birth and death is strong enough, the proper cause is strong enough, then you will be able to transform the outside, the external conditions. Just like our children or our parents, we have to we have to, like get along well with them. However, if they ask us to do something immoral, we cannot just do it, We still have to follow the common morality. So we have to be very skillful in listening to our parents. If they told us to do something immoral, we cannot just blindly follow. And from the practice, you will have the right wisdom and the right awareness to know what to do. So we still go with the external conditions, but we don't let go of our practice. Just like in the Lotus Sutra, there was an example of the two kids. Their parents are their parents follow the outsiders, but doesn't want to follow the Buddha. And their kids know that their parents really into superpower. That's why they they practice well to the point where they have the superpower, and they use that superpower to make their parents feel respectful of their practice. And then their parent asks them, who is your teacher? And then the children said, it's the Buddha, that is our teacher. And eventually they were able to redirect their parent to the triple gem and to practice Buddhism. So that is the effort of the children that was able to help the parent follow them. Just like their proper retribution is strong enough to transform the retribution of their parent. So for us, we have to find a way to cultivate the right Dharma and attain the achievement. And by doing that, we will be able to spread the Dharma to at least to our family, first thing before anyone else. So we already have the great opportunity to know about the right Dharma. We need to appreciate and protect the Dharma. At this point, we will not be able to save the people around us yet. We have to first being able to grasp the right Dharma first. And then after that, depending on the external conditions, we will help other people. So you don't need to worry about whether you are distant from others or others are distant from you, as long as you don't do anything harmful to anyone and don't lose your practice. That is good enough. Don't worry about people laughing at us, or even if they want to compete with us over all of the benefits. We will be willing to sacrifice because it's more important for us to cultivate liberation. For example, if your boss give more incentives to the people who join their parties, but you will be willing to sacrifice that time to practice, you will just, get the normal pay. That is good enough. Then I think that is a good choice. And if the boss want to give more rewards to the other people, it's fine. Just we're gonna accept that. As long as we have a strong determination, we will be able to overcome all of those difficulties. Just worry about our practice. This is just an example. Maybe it's not that worse in your case. Maybe only the friends will get together to do gambling and singing and drinking. You know, um, losing such friends, is okay. Don't worry about it. Practice is more important. Um, you understand? Yes, I do. I understand it very clearly. Dear thầy, dear all teachers and Sangha, I have two questions. My first question is, one time I listened to one of the book. I think he's referred to one of the book. I suddenly think about the 9 words, nothing to seek, nothing to gain, nothing to fear, like you normally talk about. Suddenly I feel like those 9 words are wrong, like they, their essence are wrong, cannot be used. Could you please explain more? The book Truyền tâm Pháp yếu, I think it means to transmit the mind, to transmit the Dharma through the mind. The essential of transmitting that is the book. The book name is The Essential of Transmitting the Dharma Through the Mind. So on our practice to all of the dualistic Dharma in the world, there's still certain effects of them. And then for the right Dharma, it has a very special effect. When we talk about liberation, it's because there is constraints. That's why we talk about liberation. If there's no constraint, then we don't need to talk about liberation. So our practice is to help us awaken from our mistake. We were the one who tie up ourselves. We have to be the one who untie ourselves. If we still talk about liberation, it means we still have a subject of gaining because we're still in duality. So these were just, temporary means to help us to get rid of attachment, because right now we still get controlled by ignorance and attachment. The birth and death control us altogether. Then on using the common sense, common truth, we have to say, to find a way to end birth and death and find our true nature, to return to our nature. So those talking is just a skillful means, nothing to seek, nothing to gain, nothing to fear. It is to help us get rid of attachment. But if you notice, all of the sutra of the ultimate meaning always talk about nothing to gain. And the pages combine all of the issues on our practice and refer to them as one thing, to get rid of attachment. Our thinking and our consciousness tend to follow the words, the written words, follow duality, and that's why sometimes we feel like, oh, it's proper, and sometimes we feel it's not proper. It conflicting itself, it's because of our thinking. That's why we keep fall into those conflicting thoughts. As soon as we can stop the deluded mind, then we will be free, But because the deluded mind couldn't stop, that's why we keep having differentiation. We keep thinking, why is it not clear? But actually, it's really clear. Just like Master Ananda said, whether the mind within the body or not within the body. But the Buddha negate all of those thinking because he want Ananda to transcend attachment. Some pages, once they reach enlightenment, they said originally there is no Buddhahood to attain. There is no sentient being to enlighten. Those saying are still just skillful means. If some people they attach to those words, they will say, if there's nothing to attain, then why do we have to cultivate? If everything is already ready, why do we have to cultivate? But you have to know that all of those are just skillful means. He said, right now we still in ignorance, so we need to rely on those 9 words to support us, right, thầy? Thầy said those 9 words is to help us on our road from from sickness to healthy, from illusion to awakening. Those are fake medicine. Just like even the Hoa question is also a fake medicine. Once we reach the true doubt, everything will be clear and everything will fall apart. Right now we're still on the way, but we just want to be at the destination of Hoa Thầu. That means we still stuck in attachment. So you need to just keep practicing, and all of the meditation sickness, all of the attachment, and that we experience, and then the skillful means of the wise teachers and the pages give to you, you just use those skillful means to overcome those obstacles and then continue to go ahead. Don't carry those obstacles. So whenever you practice, wherever you get stuck, you ask and then untie those obstacles and then continue to going. Our tendency is we normally feel hesitant to practice, and hesitant to put into practice. We always feel, and it happened to a lot of people, even the monastic people. They want to learn, they want to understand, but they get very hesitant when they practice, because they are fearful. That's why they don't want to let go of the knowledge, but you have to know that the knowledge that we try to accumulate can generate a lot of poison to us very quickly and lead us into mistake very quickly. It's because we fall into accumulating the knowledge instead of like strongly practice. Thầy, I have another question. Also in the book of the essentials of transmitting the Dharma through the mind, I remember there was a saying that the Dharma already beside you, but when you try to get close to it, it will move away from you. When you try to move away from it, it will get close to you. If you just ignore it, it's always there. Thầy said it's still our tendency to want to understand and want to know. Our patriot sometimes mention about something, and then later on they negate that thing. So their purpose is to transcend duality, but we have the tendency to want to grasp, want to understand, and we easily fall into the trap of the skillful means and get tied up by the skillful means instead of utilize the skillful means to help with the practice. But we don't want to fall into whether we should or should not look for. We just need to keep the doubt. The advice is for us get enlightened, but people get stuck and get attached to the advice. That's why they couldn't move forward. So in this situation, you are falling into the trap of the skillful means of the patriarch. Be normal and keep practicing. Thank you, Thầy. Another thing, could you please explain more about the word love? Thầy said everybody experience the issues of the love. In one of the sutra, the Buddha said there was a young man from the countryside going to the city, and he lived by himself. One day there was a lady knocking on his door. Once he opened the door, he saw a very beautiful lady. She actually came from the heaven, and bring over a lot of joys and happiness. And he asked her, why are you here? And the lady said, I want to live with you. And he was like, I've been all alone all the time. Now suddenly a beautiful lady appear here and want to bring a lot of good things to me. Why shouldn't I accept her? So he take her in. Right after that, there is another lady actually came from the hell and bring over a lot of bad things. And then the guy asked, why are you here? And the lady said, oh, I also want to be your wife. And he said, no, I only want one wife. And then this lady said, no, the other lady is my sister. If you take in my older sister, you have to take me in as well. And then he was so worried about that, so he let go of both ladies. Then there was another man who experienced the same thing, but the way he reacts is different. He take in both ladies, the younger and the older sisters. So those represent the wise person versus the foolish persons. The first person is a wise person. The second person is the foolish because he take in both happiness and suffering. So that is an example that the Buddha gave in the Great Nirvana Sutra. The thought of love is very dangerous. The more we get into that, our karma will be even worse. Our mind is just like our mind is never satisfied. We want, if we have more money, we want even more money. If we are greedy, we even greedier. And love is even worse than all of that. Getting into love is just like drinking salt water, drinking the sea water. The more we drink, the more we feel thirsty. It's very dangerous, and eventually we will get plunged into that seawater. It's very dangerous, and it happened to both the man and the woman, and that can lead us to create a lot of bad karma, and those karmas will lead us to go down, never go up. Meaning go down means to go into the three lower realms. And because of the love, that's why we want possession, we want enjoyment, and it drives us away from the practice. So for the practice, they try to limit those greed, anger, and ignorance, so to help them able to reborn into a better realms, like the heaven realm. But for us, when we meet this Dharma, it's even better. It helps us able to liberate from birth and death and get rid of attachment and all afflictions. That's why in the Surangama Sutra, it said about the three thought cultivation. Like Master Đại Huệ said, we use those thoughts, but then we cultivate on those thoughts. So now we are human. We already have those thoughts within us because of the thought of love. That's why we are reincarnated in this Saha world. The thought of love, it for every realms, doesn't matter the human realm or the heaven realm, because of that thought that lead us into reincarnate into this human body. For example, a person who like a lady, they will be reborn as a guy, and a lady who like a guy, they will be reborn as a lady. If they love their dad, they will become born as a female. If they love their mom, they will be reborn as a male. Thầy said, depending on whether the kid will be born as a male or female, the fetus in the belly of the mom can have a different position depending on how it cling on to the spine of the mom. It's all about the thought of love. So if you focus on the practice and maintain the practice, then all of those thoughts will be swept away. Just focus on practicing. Nobody can avoid that as long as we are human. We always have deluded thoughts. We always have those thoughts of greed, anger, and ignorance and love. But if we have the practice, we will be able to control our mind. So it doesn't matter. I have a story about a person who became a monastic when he was little. He start become a monastic when he was a little kid. And when they grow old, we thought like, oh, they already start becoming a monastic when they were little. So when they grow old, then they won't have to fall into the trap of love. But they said no, that's not the case. Even you small or even you young or you old, we always have get trapped into those love or those attachment, like small house, big house, small temple, big temple, all came from our greed and our attachment. So just focus on practicing. Nobody is better than anyone. As long as you have the practice, you will be able to overcome yourself. What if I have I owe, or if I owe a debt to someone, and that love keep following me, that and doesn't let me to practice? What should I do? Thầy said, in Canada there was a person a person coming telling the guy telling the uncle that if you go become a monastic, I will commit suicide. And he told thầy that if you make him a monastic, I will commit suicide. And then he's worried that if he become a monastic, she will commit suicide. But actually, it didn't happen. After a week, she met someone else. You know, she didn't commit suicide at all. Because he become a monastic. She just find another boyfriend. Namo Buddha. At my workplace, it's the same thing. A lot of men, when I go to work, a lot of people follow me and chase me and ask me, and I told them, if anybody want to chase me, then 4 a.m. in the morning go to the temple, and then 5 p.m. go home. If you can overcome that challenge, then we can go to the next stage. At first I heard there's one person that willing to go with me, and I told him that I will also take two other elder lady to follow with us. And then that guy said, oh, then no, I'm not gonna go with you guys. I thought if only you, then I follow with you. But if there's another two elder lady, then I will give up. And then I told them, anybody can overcome that challenge. Like go to the temple at 4 a.m., return home at 5 p.m. Then I will date that person. That thầy said even just that they already run away. Um, um, because of their greed, they think of different tricks, to attract us. If we are not bright and wise, we will easily fall into their trap. Just focus on the practice. Don't worry. But Master Daiwa said, even those love and desire nature will eventually lead to the pure nature. So just focus on the practice. You don't need to suppress anything. The mind of practice, the mind of moving away from attachment, subject and object, will help sweep away all of those thoughts. So the deluded mind, the mind of wanting to know, once it touches the question, it will generate the doubt, and eventually it will help us lead to enlightenment. Um, but but if we fall into the trap of wanting to gain more and more knowledge, we will fall into the wrong view. Because we fall into reality instead of go straight into the source of birth and death. The source of birth and death is wanting to know but cannot know. That is the doubt. And once we hold that doubt, we are direct to the self nature. If we still if we use suppression to suppress those thoughts, the best we can do is only go into the heaven realm. We cannot get out of birth and death. Only when we move away from the object, the subject will also fall apart. We will be able to liberate. Goodbye, everyone. It's time for walking meditation. Namo Shakyamuni Buddha.